Transforming a home into a cozy haven with a vintage cottage meets rustic charm aesthetic brings together the best of two timeless styles. Vintage cottage decor with its quaint and homey feel perfectly complements the rugged, earthy vibes of rustic charm. Together, they create a warm, inviting space filled with character and unique personality. If you're looking to blend these two styles, you're in for a treat. This video will take you through a collection of decor ideas that beautifully combine vintage cottage warmth with rustic charm. The bones of a room set the tone for any decor style. Exposed, reclaimed wood beams are a hallmark of rustic design, and when paired with vintage pieces like antique chandeliers or weathered picture frames, they create an incredible blend of old-world charm and rugged character. Choose beams that have natural wear, which add an organic feel to the room, while vintage lighting or accents add a layer of timeless elegance. This pairing is the perfect way to set the foundation for a space that feels like it has a history and a story to tell. Nothing says vintage cottage like furniture that feels lived in. Opt for pieces like a weathered wood dining table or distressed armchairs. Look for items with patina, those worn edges or faded spots that give furniture character. Rustic charm loves natural textures, so pairing vintage furniture with natural linen throws or woven rugs creates a sense of balance. The furniture should be comfortable, inviting, and have that old friend feel. Worn in but well loved is the key to combining the best of these two aesthetics. Vintage cottages often feature floral patterns that are soft and romantic. For a rustic twist, combine these florals with raw, earthy materials. A floral slipcover on a sofa looks stunning when set against a backdrop of wooden walls or a rustic stone fireplace. Add a burlap throw or a jute rug to bring in more natural textures. This combination softens the rustic elements while staying true to the vintage cottage charm. Stick to muted tones. Think soft pinks, creams, or pale blues for the florals, and let the rustic materials do the grounding work in the design. Mirrors can do wonders for a room, especially when it comes to reflecting light and making spaces feel bigger. Vintage mirrors with tarnished edges or beveled glass add an air of nostalgia. For the rustic element, choose frames made from weathered wood or wrought iron. An oversized mirror with a rustic frame hanging above a vintage console table creates an eye-catching vignette in an entryway or living room. Not only do these mirrors bring in light, but they also introduce texture and visual interest, embodying the best of both worlds. Incorporating a farmhouse sink into a kitchen or bathroom instantly brings rustic charm into the space, but what makes it even better is pairing it with vintage touches like brass or copper faucets or a weathered wood countertop. This blend of rustic and vintage creates a cozy, functional space that feels like it belongs in a countryside cottage. Add open shelving with mason jars filled with wildflowers or antique glassware to further enhance the charm. Mixing metals is a great way to marry vintage cottage elegance with rustic charm. Antique brass, copper, and wrought iron work well together in this aesthetic. Think antique brass lamps next to a rustic wooden bench or a copper pot rack in a kitchen with distressed cabinets. By mixing metals, you create depth and interest in the space. These metals bring a sense of history, making the room feel like it has evolved over time. Perfect for achieving that vintage rustic vibe. Rustic charm often features heavy, natural fabrics like burlap, wool, or linen. To bring in that vintage cottage touch, mix these with lighter, more delicate materials like lace or embroidered linens. A burlap table runner paired with vintage lace doilies creates a beautiful contrast on a dining table, or layer a linen bedspread with a crocheted throw for a cozy bedroom that blends rustic simplicity with vintage elegance. The key is to balance the textures so that the room feels both refined and relaxed. Create a gallery wall filled with vintage artwork or family photos, but use rustic frames made from reclaimed wood or wrought iron. This gives the space an eclectic, curated feel. Mix in antique finds like old postcards, vintage illustrations, or pressed flowers to add variety. A gallery wall is a great way